So this video is really just a communication. It's a communication to those sisters who may be on the fence about whether or not they want to dedicate some time and space to attending one of the Sacred Sister Soul Circles. Specifically, this video is going to be focused on the upcoming ones for the September Equinox, which of course is a spring equinox in the Southern Hemisphere and an autumn equinox in the Northern Hemisphere. For our purposes, it doesn't really matter. We've decided, and when I use the term we, of course, those of you who don't know, I'm talking about the collective intelligence that I channel that uses my expression and experience to sit right on the threshold between where my own personal journey meets the collective need. Otherwise, me being of service to something beyond myself. So when I use the term we, I'm talking about the spiritual intelligence that works through me, and at my own position in this beautiful wisdom called life, I have dedicated a good proportion of my energy to collective service. And this is just because of the way that I'm designed. And of course, it is up to every woman, man, child also, but it is up to every woman to journey with their own sacred voice. And when we use the term sacred voice, we're talking about who you are, how you act as an agent in your own experience. So what action you take in your own life to be an advocate or to be of service in some way, shape or form, whatever that means for you. And what energy you want to dedicate to what activity. You get some choice in the matter, but obviously we all come down with a soul purpose or an intelligence that sits as plumb in some vibrational alignment where our resonance is strongest there. And so you need to journey about that for you, and I journey with that for me, and that puts me right here making this video today. So getting back to the Sacred Sister Soul Circles, of course, you know, that dialogue is a part of the Sacred Sister Soul Circles. These feminine dialogues, of course, are emergent, meaning that they apply the technology that we have at the time that it is expressed. And if you want to learn more about that, there's a lot of information out in social media land that you could read about. There's actually a lot of really beautiful women practitioners at the moment that are promoting an alternative view to the reality that we've all been programmed under, given that it's been primarily masculine. And you can argue that perspective if you like. If you feel resistance around that suggestion, please hold whatever it is that's true for you as sacred, because this is a part of your journey. You need to do that for you. I honor that about you and all people. But what's primarily of focus here is understanding that we do come from an ancestry, all of us, where we have journeyed with a paradigm which basically places man at the top of the food chain. And yes, I'm talking about human who comes without a womb. And so we created this sacred space specifically for womb holders, and that's because there is a deeper truth to the way that our intelligence is structured, i.e. the way that we are wired, that allows us to hold wisdom that is beyond that which non-womb holders are able to possess. And that's not to put us in a seat of superiority over anybody else. It's just a state of fact. We are biologically wired to run trains of energy through our systems in a particular way that makes us powerful through some spaces and less powerful in other spaces. And again, your journey with this is primarily your responsibility, something you need to take responsibility for. We created the Sacred Sister Soul Circles for any woman, any womb holder that desires to continue this dialogue for themselves in a collective container, i.e. with another group, a group of other people, in this case, womb holders, women, whatever it is your choice of label is, so that we can amplify the energetic environment and access more of us. And to understand that, you do need to have a spiritual practice and to get some experience in spirituality, whatever that looks like for you. There's a lot of options out there around that. And again, I recognize that it's your responsibility and your birthright to choose what that looks like for you. The container that I offer in the Sacred Sister Soul Circles is specific to gifting you back the space to be able to hear the sacred wisdom that you wield inside of you. So a great proportion of the sister circles, the Sacred Sister Soul Circles that I run, and this is different to those circles that you might go where we just celebrate being a woman and celebrate moon cycles and, blood lineages and, menstrual cycles and all of those things. Those things are very valuable because they are our truth, right? They're part of our system. But my sacred container, in the way that I'm voicing it at the moment, is firstly, primarily to gift you with space and time to be able to tune into that which belongs to you so that you can hear what your dialogue is. Very few people on earth at the moment are resourced or wired to be able to hear truthfully what lies underneath all of the chatter. And if you've ever sat down and meditate and gotten caught up in the mind loops, you'll understand what I mean by chatter. Chatter is a part of us. It's a technology on the mental mind mapping system. If you'd like to learn more about these types of things, please tune into my psychic development circles. They are specifically the other space that I'm holding at the moment for sacred feminine voicing, which is about teaching you about psychic energy. Because the mind chatter, a lot of it is mispurposed psychic energy. Psyche, psychic, psyche, psychic. Related. Coming back to womb, heart-based technology to voice sacred feminine language in a way that is harmonious with our own systems, so that when we communicate, we are aware that that which we choose to voice is powerful because we are listening to our own dialogue. We are hearing what's underneath the chatter, and we are able to find ways to communicate that in a way that it lands. And when we say it lands, and this is the second part of all the sister circles, the first part is about listening, tuning in and receiving technology or information around where you're at with your conversation on a particular topic and what your higher self or spiritual intelligence has to say about your truth, where you're at, why, what the dialogue might be, and what your options might be moving forwards, where your power lies. Really important that we find this out, and really important that we create some space to dialogue with this. The second part is finding effective ways to be able to name, voice, communicate that which needs to be spoken in the space between my own dialogue and someone else's. And that takes practice, it takes some skills. Authentic relating is a part of the platform that I am an advocate of. Learning to communicate is really important. But the last part of the sister circles will always be dedicated to space and time to practice some of the skills. And if you want to go deeper with those types of skills, I have some people who I love to recommend you go and learn from them, because I've personally learned from them and they form the basis of some of these exercises. So the other aspect of the Sacred Sister Soul Circle is about what is called edification. A part of it is about acknowledging other sisters and other women who have reached a certain level of spiritual attainment. We call them Sacred Sister wisdom holders. They are primarily women who have experienced a certain level of growth. They've journeyed deeply with their own soul's technology, and they are in a position where they're voicing themselves powerfully. And they are the women that we would like to introduce you to, so that you can either see them as role models, because our society unfortunately is poor of authentic role models. There's a lot of social media role models out there, but there's not a lot you can get from social media platforms simply because of its nature. And it's not that any person on social media who gets a massive following is superficial, but when we understand how energy runs and what energy does, it's actually really difficult to promote yourself authentically on a social media platform to the level of success, except through some level of weight of support financially. And this gets us into a very large topic that I probably don't want to bring into this particular conversation right now. But I mention that only in so much as most of the women who are role models for our society, for our communities, are ones that dedicate their lives to service, and they're not dedicating a whole lot of time to social media platform development because it's the external facade. So now that I've spoken that into this space, I hope that you will appreciate better the need for a sacred sisterhood and a space and time for you to be seen and held through your authentic voice. We advocate you finding that for yourself. This space is specifically designed so that you feel safe to journey with that. And at the end of that journey in the Sacred Sister Soul Circles, you will be received with a level of support, guidance, and celebration. I feel like that's all I want to say. So if you have any questions about this particular circle, there are 4 seats today still available in the US call. There's about 8 in the Australian call. So if you'd like to jump on either of those, I would suggest that you get onto that now. They are on Thursday evening, both in the States and in Australia. And so I'm also probably should mention that they are supported by what's called the rose frequency, an energy or plant medicine, if you will, that has supported me personally for quite some time now. And I'm really excited that she continues to work with me, even in hidden ways. And yeah, a lot more storytelling I could tell you around that, but I won't do that right now. I feel like I'm done. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. Otherwise, I will put some links with this video. All right. I hope that you are well, that you are safe, that you are honoring you and finding time and space to find the love, feel the love, and express the love that you deserve and that is inside of you. So, my love to you, dear sister. See you soon.